Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the Vitality Health Show. I am your host, Stephanie Parrish, and I am the voice of hope and healing. We're so excited to have you here with us today. Please, if you have any comments for me or suggestions for me, please send an email to contact@myvitalityhealthsolutions with an S.com. Again, myvitalityhealthsolutions.com. And please, in the subject line, put vitality so that we know it's come from the show. We're so happy that you're here today with us. We had an amazing weekend last weekend, and I got to meet this beautiful woman. And we had such a great instant connection, and I really wanted to bring her on the show. So this is Melanie. Sorry, I said Melanie. I don't know why that. Mallory Knopp, and she is the specialist in microgreens, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. So I've titled this show "Microgreen Mom." Because she's a mom and she talks about her kids, and her cute son was there, and they were bringing, I think everybody was there, right? But I saw
Yes,
her son
yeah.
there and her
And
husband,
the
and
whole family.
the whole
Yep.
family was there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But I do want to introduce her. She is so gracious to come on today, and we've had a little bit of technical problems, so we've been on and off and on and off, and now we're on. So we're hoping it's going to be good. Say a little prayer for us that we can get through the show without any more glitches, which would be fantastic. So anyway, Mallory, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. This is my first official podcast interview. So very cool.
I feel so blessed and so privileged
Oh,
that we can send this out to the world, because we've got listeners all around the world, and she'll be happy to send you whatever you need to wherever you need, I'm assuming, as
yes.
we get going. But I wanted to, before I show you my little show and tell of what I got from her, she and I got to go to, she was a presenter at the Homestead Life Conference this weekend, which was in Missouri. And John and I got to go. There was about 3,000 other people of our best friends there. And we got to learn the classes were amazing. There was six. The problem with that I have with this, there was too many things to do, and I wanted to do them all, and there's not enough of me to go around. So the first day, John and I went to six classes. There's six classes every couple hours. So it was like, what do we choose? And so the second day we divided and conquered. I'm like, you go do
Yes.
those, and I'll do these, and we'll try to get these. So it was absolutely phenomenal. And Mallory and I were just talking about how it had rained the day before. They said they got 4 inches in 2 hours, and it was mud everywhere. So for 2 days, and she's known as the barefoot. What is the name of it? Barefoot
Yes.
microgreens.
Barefoot microgreens.
Yeah, and so she's sitting there doing her presentation, and I'm sitting off to the side in bare feet in the mud. And
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like,
Yes, I loved it.
she is living what she talks about. There was a lot of people by the second day that didn't have shoes on, because I
Oh,
almost
yeah.
lost mine. They almost got buried in the mud. But it was a beautiful day. It was beautiful days for us there. And we had just,
Yes.
my mind came back just so full of so much information, and just felt rejuvenated and excited about what we had learned. And I was so grateful we got to go to your class, because I've been wanting to learn more about microgreens as it is, and the way you presented it, and the way and then she let us sample. Oh my goodness, that was so yummy. So we'll talk a
Yeah.
little bit more about that in just a few minutes, but I want you guys to know how we met each other, and it was just an amazing experience, and hopefully we'll be able to keep in good contact from here going
Sure.
forward. So before we start, I'd like you to give your contact information. So everybody out there, get your pen and paper ready. We'll have her give it to you now, and then we'll have her give it to you again in a little bit, so that you can make sure
Sure.
that you get it down. So you're going to want to reach out to her when you get done here.
Yes,
Go
for
ahead.
sure. So first we give our website, and that's barefootmicrogreens.com. That's where you can find all of our goodies, everything that we sell there. I'm also very much on social media like Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, also Barefoot Microgreens. And we started a YouTube channel. So you can
Yay.
check us out at Living Life Barefoot.
What a perfect name.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, because everybody's always talking about grounding, grounding, get your shoes off,
Yep.
get your feet in the dirt, and
Right.
I'm like, Does this count if it's up to mud, up to your ankles?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. It was actually more beneficial with everything being wet. So, yeah, everybody was getting good grounding that last
And
weekend.
it was wet. It was so wet,
Yeah.
but it was just fun. And it was funny on the way home when we drove, it's 18-hour drive. We were coming through Kansas and we're watching a tornado off to
Oh,
the side
wow.
of us. I'm like, we don't have those in Idaho. So this is very interesting to watch this tornado. And then all of a sudden it just flattened out. And it's like it looked like the whole flat tornado was going to just come down and touch the ground. So it was an interesting weekend from day one.
For sure. Yes. Yes. We actually showed up to the conference earlier. We're actually friends with Doug and Stacy. They're the ones that held the conference. And so we helped set up the tents and not the tents, I'm sorry, the chairs underneath the tents. And it literally was a downpour as we were setting up like 600 tents in two of the bigger I'm sorry,
Cheers.
600 chairs in two of the bigger tents. And I think there was anywhere from 100 to 200 in the smaller tents. We were sloshing through the mud for days. But
It
it
was
was a good
crazy.
time.
It was
Yeah.
fun. And it was
Yeah.
funny when you sat on those chairs because we brought our own chairs. We brought our own lawn chairs and our little wagon. It was awesome. And my husband went to sit in one of the chairs and they just sunk right into the dirt,
Oh,
the
yeah.
mud. And everybody was just the kind of everybody started up here, they all ended up down here.
Oh,
Their knees
yeah.
it was crazy. It
Yeah.
was
I
fun
feel
though.
bad for the people that had to clean up the chairs. We weren't a part of that. So,
Yeah, and the tents and everything else because it was just
oh, yeah.
mud. It was, but
It
anyway,
was
let's get
wild.
back because that was
Yeah.
just a
It's a good
little
time.
sideline because it actually made it more of an adventure. We got to go with
Sure.
Dr. Jones on his nature walk, and he's like, well, in between the
Oh,
mud,
yeah.
you can see the plantain right there, and you can see and it was just funny because I love him. He's been on my
Yeah.
show before, and just to be able to,
Awesome.
he's like,
Yeah.
we can find these plants. We just have to look through the mud.
Yeah.
So just made more adventure for all of us, which was
Sure.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to you. Tell us, okay, so everybody got that, right? You got barefootmicrogreens.com. And on YouTube, it's Living Life Barefoot, which I
Yes.
love that.
Thank
And
you.
then you're on all social media, which is Barefoot Microgreens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so write that
Yeah.
down. And when we come back, we'll tell it again so that you guys can reach out to her. I'm actually going to order some more stuff today because I'll show you my little treasure box I have here that I came home with. And I was going to plant my microgreens. I thought I can't really hold those up to the camera or the dirt will fall out. So I just brought it all like it is, and then we'll start them after we get done with our show so I can get them all going because I'm really excited about them. So Mallory, why don't you tell us a little bit of your history, how you started into this,
Sure.
what you did before this world, and just kind of give us a little bit of background.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, great. Yes. So I'm going to take you guys back to about 2016. Husband and I decided we wanted to live a more holistic way. We really wanted to get closer to our food, and that was with starting to raise our own food and also supporting other small local farmers in our area. We wanted to just have a simpler life, and we actually came across Doug and Stacy's YouTube channel, and it was that year that they were holding their first conference. And so we thought, okay, let's check this out. Let's see what we can get from it. And like you had said earlier, every year that we attended those conferences, you just come back so motivated and excited to implement those things that you learned.
Yes.
And that's kind of how it fell into place for us. We tried different things, to see what worked for us, what we enjoyed, what we liked doing. And so we first started out, I told this story and I was like, oh, everybody starts out with goats on their farm, right? And everybody's like, no. So we did the goat thing, realized it was more of a pet for us, and kind of moved on from that. We tried milking the goats and making goat soap, and that was not our thing. We learned about raising sheep. And so we gave that a try, and that has stuck with us over the last few years. We raise Katahdin sheep for our family. We probably have about 10 to 12 sheep right now that we have out on our property. We are on 5 acres.
Okay.
And then let's see, where do we go from there? We started raising meat birds for our family. So we raised them from baby chicks all the way up to the processing stage, and we actually learned how to do the processing ourselves. So it's a big family thing. We all chip in and have a big processing day. And so we're able to put anywhere from 40 to 50 meat birds in our freezer for our family.
And I have to comment on that too, because that was one of the
Yes.
classes that Doug did. Was
Yeah.
right processing the
Yes.
meat birds, how to do it. And I'm like,
Yes.
I don't know if I want to go to that one, but there was a lot of
Yeah.
people there, and it was fascinating.
Sure.
Fascinating.
Very, yes, yes. So, every year we get a little bit better at it and more efficient. And now we have people in our community that would like to come over and visit our farm on processing day so they can learn. So I think that's pretty awesome. So I think we're gonna do that this year. And just help the community learn these skills that I feel like everybody needs to know.
And don't you think, Mallory, that as things are getting crazier and crazier and crazier in the world, we need our community, don't we? We need the people around us. We need people that know what they're doing. Not any one person can know it all, but if everybody knows something, you can pull together and survive what's coming, right?
Absolutely. Yes,
so
yes.
I love
think
that you're doing that.
So important. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. We also, of course, have chickens for eggs. And we have an outdoor garden. We use raised beds. We have a makeshift greenhouse that we made out of trampoline poles. So it's really cool.
I want to see that one of these days.
Yeah, it's actually stayed up. I think I don't know, 5 years now, it's held up. We get a lot of wind where we're at. And every year when the storms roll through, you just see it. I'm like, oh, this is the year it's going to go. But so far, it's worked out really well for us.
And just to let our listeners know that you are in Southern Illinois. So you're kind of right there in the middle of all this stuff going on right now. And I'm sure you're watching your trampoline poles go crazy out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. So that allowed us to have fresh greens during the winter is what we used mostly for the greenhouse. And so several years went by while we were on this homesteading journey. I was working away from home, had my 9-to-5 job, my husband also working away from home. We decided that we wanted to homeschool our boys. At that point, we had one of our kids in public school. He was in 2nd grade, and I just came to my husband and I was like, look, I think we should do this. It's, it's super important, the things that we want them to learn, to have that just a kind heart. We want them to be happy, most important. If we can teach our kids to be happy and live the life that they want to live without all that other noise, that's our main goal. Teach them life skills. They're very, very involved with the farm. We like to call it farm school or the school of life. So we just teach them. I mean, my main goal is to make sure they're happy in life, and we really focus on the things that they enjoy and that they're interested in. And we kind of focus on that. So that's kind of how we do our homeschool around here. I know everybody's homeschool is different. And the best thing about it, I've realized, is that you can do what works for your family. And so it's worked really well for us over the years. And
if I can make a comment on that too, Mallory, real quick, because I know a lot of people that do homeschooling, and it is just, if my children were still in school, I'd be definitely homeschooling them. It's, not to take anything away from the schools. I've got 3 sisters that are teachers, but they're really struggling with what's being done in the schools now too. And just just to give the kids the opportunity to be home and see life, see what life is
Yeah.
really like, and find out what their passions are, not being told what their
Yeah.
passions are, right?
Exactly.
Find out what
Exactly.
they are and what they're good at, what their skills are, and not being fed into this tunnel saying, you will do this, you have to do this,
Right.
you're going to do this, and you're going to like it.
Right. Yeah.
Because every
Yeah.
child, all of my 6 children are so different from each other. And it's like, whoa, all chosen different
Sure.
paths, but being
Yeah.
able to homeschool. So I think that's brilliant. So if anybody has questions on homeschooling, Mallory's a good one to get a hold of too,
For sure.
because
Yeah.
she
I would love that. Yes.
knows about homeschooling,
Absolutely.
and don't be afraid of it. I was so afraid. I'm like, I don't want to homeschool my kids. But
Yeah.
it was a different world back then when my kids
Sure.
were all little and in school. And well, it really
Yeah.
wasn't, but it is. It's now it's like I hate to even have my grandkids in public school. Probably shouldn't say that,
Yeah.
but we have the option. So that's
Yeah.
a
For
good
sure.
one.
For sure. Yeah. And it's funny to think that my 7-year-old now will never know, about
Traditional.
anything with public school. And so it's kind of, you have to really make a shift as a parent too. Because I went to public school. So, in my mind, I'm
Right.
still in that, you have to sit down for 7, 8 hours and learn out of a book. And so there was a huge mind shift on our part too, and on our end.
Right.
So just a whole family learning experience for all of us, and it's just great. It's been really wonderful.
That's awesome. I think I'm
Yeah,
so proud of what you guys are doing. And
thank you.
and the other thing I want, you said you got on 5 acres. A lot of people
Yeah,
think when they're homesteading, they need to have 100 acres or they need to have all
no
these
way.
acres. But you can even do, we got a little tiny baby one. We're just on a city lot, but we've got a lot of
Yeah,
stuff. And one of the classes we went to, I think it might have been Doc Jones, I can't remember, was making your property a medicinal property, so that anything planted in your gardens and your yard can be used medicinally and to feed each other.
yeah.
And it's like, which is what we're trying to do. We don't have a really big yard, but we've got raised beds back there, and we've got the right
Mhm.
trees. And when he was talking about the bark and the elms and stuff, and how you take it out of the bark, I'm like, we got a couple of those. Those are good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there is a lot of things you can do. So 5 acres is a lot, but a lot of people, when they think homestead, they think hundreds of acres, and that's not the case, right?
no,
If you
not
know
at
how
all.
to utilize your space and put the things down that are going to generate for you, then that's the
For
best
sure.
thing to do, right?
Yes,
So
yeah, yeah,
I think that's fantastic. I love that. I love that it's okay to have I mean, 5 acres is a lot to take care of. That is a lot to take
it
care of,
is.
but
Yeah,
you can do it on a small acreage. You can do it on a small, you can even do it in a city lot if you need to, if you know what you're
for
doing.
sure. Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
especially with your microgreens, I'm like,
Yeah,
man, I could just put those right by my window. Because my
right.
my
Yeah,
she shed is full right now with all my plants waiting to go in the ground, because we have to wait till it stops snowing, which just snowed again yesterday. It's like, come on, I just need to get my plants in the ground. But I'm like, okay, we can do
yeah,
these microgreens right there by the window, which is
for
awesome.
sure.
Which we'll get into that a little bit more too. But anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So let's go back to
Yeah. So, yeah, homeschooling the boys. I was still working away from home. We were just hustling. I mean, it's a lot of work, to
yeah,
raise your own food, and so it was a couple years went by, and it really started pulling on Mama's heartstrings that I needed to be home with my boys,
right,
especially. I need to be present. I need to be there. For homeschool, we made it work. We did weekends, we did evenings. Like I said, we're very hands-on, life skill learning, but I just wanted to be the one to raise my kids.
sure,
We were fortunate enough. My mom was the one that stayed home with him, so I was very lucky there. And that was almost a struggle too, because I was like, oh, I feel like I was taking them away from her too.
yeah,
So that was like a big decision to make, but it was ultimately, it was, where I needed to be. And so I was searching and searching and searching for something that I could do from home and still make money. I didn't want to just leave my job and put us in a bad situation or anything like that. And for um, people that can do that, I mean, that is wonderful. If you can be a stay-at-home mom. But I've worked my whole life, and so the thought of just coming home, it was weird.
Yeah.
So, I still wanted to be able to bring some income to our family. And so I really searched for, and I knew I wanted it to be something that obviously that I loved and that I enjoyed. I wanted it to be something that the whole family could potentially be involved with, and just learn together and have an awesome family business. And I actually came across a microgreens course on Instagram,
Oh,
and yeah, it was an 8-week course. And so if we went back several years ago, um, I was I've grown so much from the business. It's insane. But before I started, I was not a confident person. um, Not at all. To think that I could have my own business, I had no business history, no schooling, no nothing. And I was just so determined that I was going to make something work and come home that's really aligned with me, growing food. Um, Everything about it was healthy,
yeah.
Um, I am so into health, nutrition, and just living just wellness. Like, so really, the more I researched on it, it really aligned with all my core values. It's something I could do at home, like I said, and with my family. And so I went to my husband and I was like, "Hey, there's this course. I know it sounds crazy, but I really want to do this. I really want to do this." And he's always been supportive of everything. And he was like, "Go for it."
Oh,
And
great.
so I just took the leap of faith and I went for it. I was still working away from home, doing all the things at home, homeschooling, and started this 8-week course. Um, how I to think about it now was like, oh my gosh, how did I do
Yeah.
that?
How did I do that?
But
Exactly.
it's so incredibly possible. So if there's any moms out there that are listening that dream of being home with their family and still want to be able to support their family, I just encourage you to just go for it, and just jump in and don't look back and just continue to move forward, and things will just happen like they're supposed to happen.
I
And
love that.
so,
Mallory, I'm going to cut
yeah,
in here right here because this show is everything about hope and healing. And there's so
yeah,
many people right now that have got so many stresses and struggles and they just don't know what to do. And you just hit right on it. Take control. You can do that. You
yeah,
can do anything. And you have your own program now that you're doing, that you're teaching, correct?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't want you to zip past that because you've taken all the things that you've learned over these last years and including from the class that you've taken and all the
sure,
different things. And
yeah,
the hands-on is the best. And you
right,
have turned that into your own classes. So as
yeah.
you guys are out there listening and you want to, and you just got yours in a just an extra room in your house, right? Just a
I do,
bedroom.
yeah, spare
Yeah.
bedroom, yeah, yeah,
So it can easily be done. It's if you just get your mindset right. And
yeah.
Mallory's got an incredible, there were so many people at that conference that were going, tell me about the home business. Tell me about this. It was like, that is so cool. I'm looking at
I
my
know,
husband going, huh, maybe we could do one more business because we only have
right?
like going on right now.
Yes,
But it's
yes,
same
actually,
something that was so good. I mean, we were just so amazed with how fantastic these were and how the turnover can be and just everything with
yeah,
it. So tell them a little
it's
bit about
amazing.
your schooling since we're right here on that,
Sure.
because I
Yeah,
want
for
people
sure.
that are interested to reach out
Yeah.
to you to get into your
Yes.
schooling.
Yes. So right now, I basically just created a blueprint of exactly what I did to get my business started. I do have the book right here, and I'll just kind of share with you. It's 3 phases in the
Can you
book.
hold that up,
Um,
Mallory? Can
yeah,
you
for
hold your book
sure.
up?
Yep. Yeah.
For those of you that can see it, it's called Tiny Greens, Big Dreams. I love that. Those of you that can't see it, you can go onto her website. I'm sure it's on the website. And that's just step by step.
Yeah.
Everything that you need. It says, what's the bottom part to grow? What's the
Yeah. It
bottom
says
tagline?
launching your microgreens business, the grow to order method.
Her grow to
Yeah.
order. I love that because you don't have to sit around
Yes.
with product that just goes bad,
Exactly.
right? You people put
Exactly.
an
Yes.
order,
You
it
can.
takes you so many times and you got it out there
Yes.
for them.
Yeah, you can totally make a profit like immediately. So yeah, it's the best way. That's how I learned from my mentor. And you know, when you've created something so amazing that it's so funny because people are like, well, why would you want why would you want that competition? I'm like, no way. No, if I can help someone do exactly what I did, I'm like, I'm on board 100%. I think there should be a microgreens farmer in every county, every state. You know, we need more real food in this world. And so,
Yeah, I think
yeah, we
that's what
need
I
more,
was so
we need,
impressed with you, Mallory, is that you are willing to share everything. I mean,
oh yeah,
a lot of people keep their stuff close to their chest and they're like, I'm not telling anybody about what I do. But you are told, so you're like, let me teach you, let me show
yes,
you, because
yes,
this show is about hope and healing, and that's healing in everything: physical, mental, financial, emotional, spiritual. And what you're offering is all of those,
yes,
everything. So anybody that's out there listening to the show right now that is feeling like you're just stuck and you need a
stuck,
chance to
yes,
do something else that's going to help your health, it's going to help your emotions, because we all know what greens and playing in the dirt and all that stuff can do for you. You know,
yeah, for
financially
sure.
it can help you, spiritually. I mean, just I'm gonna start crying. Wow. Just because I know what it's like to be able to watch your garden grow and watch things that have come up that you've planted. And it's real spiritual. It's very, very spiritual. Here, I
Sure,
told you I'm going to cry.
yeah,
It's very, very spiritual, and it's very enlightening to know that you're
yeah,
being able to produce this for your family and for you, and to help your neighbors. And my husband and I have been very much set in trying to make sure we're prepared to help our neighbors, because they're going to need help.
yes,
People that aren't prepared
absolutely,
or don't know what to do, right?
yeah, for
And all
sure, for
different
sure.
ways to do it. That's the whole thing about why this conference was so amazing, because it gave all these different ideas of how to do this.
Yeah,
So anyway,
yes,
let's finish going on about your class. Sorry, I just wanted to share that with people
yeah,
because it's so important.
yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so the book, like I said, is kind of like a blueprint, and this is like a one-stop thing. Like you could, if you get through this book, you could totally start a business. I try to make it as simple as I possibly could and helpful, beneficial. Like I said, there's 3 phases in the book, and I'll just quickly go through those. The planning phase is the first phase in my book, and it goes through all the yucky business stuff that people don't want to deal with. And I think it's so important to to get it out of the way at the beginning. You know, your permits, your license, your insurance, your business account, like all that stuff. That's
Well,
not
and
so
I
much,
think that's awesome
not
that you've
fun.
addressed that, because I
Yeah.
have started many, many businesses, and that is the worst part. It's like, let somebody
Oh,
else
yes,
do that, but you've got to make sure that all
for
that
sure.
stuff is in place so you don't get in trouble.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you don't want to like your microgreens business could scale up so quickly that you don't want to be like all in it and then trying to almost backpedal to do all these things that you should have done and just jumped over the hoops, jumped over all that stuff and got it out of the way so you can really move on and enjoy, creating your business.
Exactly.
So that's the first phase. The second phase, I call it the production phase. So this is where we're going to get into, and the planning phase it kind of just all goes in together. So I listed how to kind of figure out what infrastructure that you want to use for your farm. So it's called indoor vertical farming is what I teach. So
Love
you
it.
need you need little space. I grow on vertical racks. Like I said, I use my spare bedroom. So you really want to find a infrastructure, hopefully something that you already have that you don't need to invest in. You don't need to rent space. You don't need to go get a shed. You can, so I just go over all that, examples. You can use your front porch if you have a greenhouse, spare bedroom, a garage, basement, all the things.
Mhm.
So it just kind of touches base on that, finding what would work best for you.
And it doesn't have to
Um,
be huge to start with, right? I mean, you
no,
can
not
grow
at
into
all.
that. So, and you were even saying
Yes.
you can set these on your counter in your kitchen. You know, we put a little bench underneath our front kitchen or our front living room window so that we could
Yeah,
put stuff there. It's not taking up any space in the
sure.
really 2 feet, but you can
Yeah.
create that. So just really look around and get creative. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure. And
doesn't need to
again,
take a lot
check
of
out
space.
my Instagram, Barefoot Microgreens. I share all business stuff there and on our YouTube channel, so you can kind of see um how I've structured my grow room. And you can kind of check that out and get some ideas there. Um, and then it goes into, I just give you an entire supply list, like everything you need to get started. There's a link that you can go to that'll take you to a Word doc that gives you clickable links. I mean, you
Mm.
click on it and you can just go right to all the supplies that you need. And we talk about like, you really want to invest in good quality seeds, good quality soil, your trays, those things you might want to invest a little more on. But the other things, you can have such a lean setup, so you don't have a lot of overhead there to get started on your business.
Mallory,
It
let's
really,
stop for
you
just a
can,
minute because I want to show them what
yeah,
you've created here. I've got my little
okay,
packet here.
yes,
Because this and these trays, you were telling everybody that they could beat them up or take care of whatever they want to. There's two of them
yeah,
that you, so you can kind of explain these. I just wanted to show those
yeah,
that are seeing this. There's one that's
yes,
got holes in it in the bottom, and the other one doesn't.
right,
And those that are seeing it can see what I've got here. And I love the green. I love the bright
yeah,
green. So they're easy to
yes,
see. So these stack on top of each other so they can self-water. You can use it
yeah,
as you're getting your seeds ready to go. And they're
right,
small. I mean, look at this. They can fit under your windowsill. They can fit on a
sure,
countertop. You don't have to have
yeah.
these great big huge grow boxes to get this. And you should have seen her stuff. I wish I would have had some pictures with me, but and then
I
it
actually have
even
a
comes with
tray.
a bucket of
Yeah,
dirt.
yeah, yeah. Starter soil. Yeah, I try to create everything to make it as simple and easy as possible, so people, as soon as they got home, they could immediately get started on their growing.
And then
And
it comes with the
yeah,
seeds too. And
yes,
all these
yeah,
different seeds. Of course, she had peas, the pea greens
yes,
there, and they were
uh-huh,
delicious. So
yes,
we're going to get some more of those. But this one came with sunflower shoots, micro broccoli, and micro salad mix, which we had
yes,
some of both of these, I believe, that we were when we were there. And the
yep,
thing about ordering through Mallory is that they're all exactly made to fit into these grow boxes. So you don't
correct.
have to try
Pre-measured
to
seed.
guess how many seeds that you need. Everything is right
Yes,
there ready to go. And then
yeah,
she's got her little book with that cute picture of her on
yeah,
there, that tells you exactly what to do. So and this her kit is
yeah,
amazing. So if you guys want to get
yeah,
started, it's just got everything in here. So if you guys want to get started, get one of her kits because
yeah,
it's
for
and
sure.
try it yourself. And then if you decide you want to do this as a business,
Yeah,
contact her about the business end of it because I mean,
yeah,
really, she's done the work.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
hardest part
yeah,
is what you've done already, right? And
sure,
now you get to just
sure.
step in and share it with people.
Yeah, have actually had three families that three, I think, maybe four, that I have actually helped start a business prior to my book. Um, that so last year at the Homestead
We don't
Conference,
know.
I actually spoke on the business side of it.
Mm.
And so they immediately went home and implemented everything. I gave them the supply list, I gave them all that they needed. And they actually started with the grow kit and started learning how to grow, and then just took everything they learned from last year's talk and just really started it. And it was so awesome because I had a family, well, it was a husband and wife, came up to our booth this year, and they had started their business from last year's talk, and they came to ask me more questions and to thank me for giving them the opportunity to start a business. So it was awesome to see them. And
That's what
so
it's all
yeah,
about. So that everything
yeah,
comes in this bag. I wanted to show you this too because it's a neat bag. So those of you that can't
yeah,
see, it's got her logo on the front with some seeds
yep,
growing, and it says
yeah,
barefoot microgreens on the front. And this is everything
yeah,
that I have right here came in this bag. So
yep,
literally, it's everything that you need to get started, except for me because I
sure,
like to have different things. So I'm gonna order
yep,
more, and then
yep,
we'll see where this takes us. Maybe next year we'll be at the conference going, oh, we started the business. It's gone crazy. So I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, we're both into this, helping other people, getting the right nutrition into people's bodies, and figuring out how to make
Yeah.
some money in this crazy world. And if it's all about helping each other and sharing each other and communicating with each other, and I mean, there's just so much out there. I was so overwhelmed with love for you and excitement for the people that were all there. There was many, many, many people there. I don't know how many hundreds were at your class, but
Yeah.
it was really cool. Okay, so I'll quit
Yeah.
interrupting for a moment. No
That's okay.
guarantees, but
Yeah.
let's.
The last phase of the book is the profit phase, where I help you out with how to price your microgreens, the different customer bases that you can approach, and really try to find what works best for you in your business. So there's a whole lot out there on who's interested on microgreens and which way you could take it. I also give other ways you can branch out from just growing. So you could hold workshops, you could teach people like I am. You could go to conferences and speak. You can do farmers markets. There's just a whole. You could take it so many different directions. It's just really pretty incredible business to start. And then
I'm
like
excited right now because I know there's people out there listening that are going to just jump on this, and I'm really
yeah,
excited about that because, like I said, this show's about hope and healing, and let's get the world growing microgreens and get the right tools in their bodies to repair their bodies and heal their bodies, and
yes,
financially to
yes.
help everybody, because there'll be a time where it's going to become to barters. Well, this kind of stuff is going to be very, very
Oh
important to
yeah,
barter with, right? And people will
yes,
trade you a lot of stuff to get some good microgreens into their bodies and
for
to be able to
sure.
feed their families. So, and to be able to have the access to do it. And it doesn't,
Sure.
like I said, it doesn't take a lot of space. That's what I love. And you've
Yeah,
done all the footwork, which just takes so,
yes,
that's crazy. So when she said get to the
yeah,
profit part, I just got goosebumps all over, because that's
yeah,
what everybody's really needing help with
for
right now,
sure.
right? They
Yeah,
need to know that
yes,
there's a good thing they can do at home, in their home, and you give them all the tools how to set everything up and make sure
yeah.
everything is there, and how to be profitable with that.
Right, right. And then I touch base also on marketing. Marketing's huge. You got to get your
Yeah.
business out there. You got to get yourself out there. You got to really get out of your comfort zone if you want to, make this work. So there's a lot of hard work. I mean, I know it sounds exciting, but I just want to be honest. Like, you definitely have to put in the work, and put yourself out there. I give all the guidance and all the information you need on that as well. I also offer a 30-minute consultation with myself after you have went through the entire book to answer any questions that you may have. Um, and then from that point, I would love to offer any future consultations just to help encourage them, keep them going, keep them motivated, just help them through the process, because I really want people to be able to do exactly what I did. And I believe that having support and someone motivating you and building your confidence, and just keeping you in that good, it's really hard to get down on yourself or think you can't do something, or like, oh, I don't know, this is too hard. But if you have that person that's like, nope, you can do it, let's keep
Yeah.
going, I believe in you, this will work. I want to be that person, for them. So I do, with the purchase of the book, you do get that initial 30-minute consultation with me, but I would love to be there for you, the listeners, if you're interested in throughout your whole starting of your business, just to help you along. So,
And Mallory, I love that what you said at the very beginning when we first started talking is that you used to be the really shy, quiet,
oh
no way would you get out there in front of people. You would never know that now. So
yeah,
you have developed, and you have changed, and you have grown, and to be willing to
yeah,
share that with other people, because a lot of people go, there's no way I could do this. There's no way. I can't
oh
stand
yeah,
in front of an audience. I can't
I
stand in
was
front of
there.
people. And when you've been there already, you're like, let me tell you about my story.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's a beautiful thing you add to your business because it's not
Sure.
something that you haven't been through. You've been through all of this, everything you're
Yeah.
teaching. And so
Yeah.
everybody can benefit from what you have learned.
Sure. Yeah. I not only grew a profitable business, like I grew myself as a person. And it's just been, it's just been incredible. The thought, like prior to all this, before any of this, the thought of public speaking would make me want to vomit. Like I
Yeah.
probably would like, no way.
That's the
Um,
number one fear, I
so
believe, that
Oh
people
yeah,
have.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I still get nervous and scared, but once you get up there and you just really sharing what you're passionate about and what you love, it comes easy. You
Yeah.
just got to do it.
It is so, so true. So tell us what you have seen and noticed by using microgreens with your own family, what other people have
Sure.
done health wise. Basically, is what I'm thinking, because we've
Yeah.
talked a lot about the business, which I think is phenomenal. So
Hmm.
tell us kind of health wise. I love miracle stories. That's what I'm always
Yeah,
telling about miracle stories because everybody has a miracle.
for
Everybody
sure.
has a miracle if they know to just look for them and recognize them as miracles. So what
Yeah.
have you seen in the miracle world from
Mm.
using the microgreens with your children, with you, with your whoever? What stories do you
Yeah.
have?
Yeah. So let's start with my kids because they were the main reason for this. As a once you become a parent or a mom, like you're no longer just taking care of yourself and your health, like your kids' health is so important. And, I always hear so many moms, and I was one too, like struggling to get their kids to eat vegetables and,
Yeah,
just eat healthy. Like all this processed food is just thrown in front of them. And, you get your taste bugs hijacked and then you're trying to fight against that. And it's just a struggle. Um,
yeah,
and like I said, I was there too. And so once I realized that my kids liked microgreens, I'm like, oh my gosh. Once you start learning the nutritional value in them, which is just completely mind blowing,
yeah,
um, once they started eating them, I'm like, oh yeah, game on. Like this
yeah.
is awesome. And I really, that is ultimately my favorite part. So when we would set up at farmers markets, or we would sell to my local community, and I would hear those messages from the parents or see the kids trying the microgreens at the farmers market, and then the families would return back the next week and was like, "Oh my gosh, my kids were just eating handful of these. Like I didn't
Yeah.
even have to hide them or sneak them in or like do anything." And that makes me incredibly happy.
Right.
It, it's crazy the disease that they're seeing in young kids today because of all the processed foods, and like it's just dead food. Like they're not getting the nutrition
Nothing.
that they need.
Right.
And like I think microgreens are the answer, because they're so full of nutrition that you only need a little bit. And you're getting so many vitamins, minerals, antioxidants that our bodies desperately need to survive. But with microgreens, you're almost thriving.
Right.
You're, there's so many deficiencies, that they're seeing at a young age, and like I said, you only need a little bit of microgreens, and the kids love them. They absolutely love them. So that's probably the one that makes me the happiest is seeing kids eat them. I do have a lot of in the local community, my local community that I grow for, unfortunately, a lot of um, cancer that runs. I
That's
mean, it's
everywhere.
everywhere.
It is crazy.
Yeah. And just to touch base on broccoli microgreens, they have a chemical compound in them called sulforaphane. And if you're unfamiliar with that, it is a cancer fighting property.
Mm.
And so I have unfortunately, a lot of people in my surrounding town that have cancer, and luckily, their doctors that they see actually know about the broccoli, the sulforaphane, and they, tell them like this is so important to get in your diets daily. So not only people that do have cancer, I mean, it's a great preventative. Like everybody should be incorporating this, into their daily meals. Um, so so on the growing side, those are what comes to mind for me. The people that I've taught how to grow for themselves using our kits, just the incredible emails that I get from them, like, oh my gosh, this is just so amazing that it's literally a superfood that
Yeah.
you can grow in 10 days. Their families are getting involved, the kids are growing, they just feel better about what they're able to give their family and feed their family. It's right at their fingertips.
I'm going to
Because
hold this
that's
up
another,
here real
yeah,
quick. So those of you that can see, those that you can't see, she's holding this tray right in front of
I
her.
actually have some here.
Do you have somebody that will hold the real thing up? Because I mean, look at this. This is so beautiful. And she was showing us how
Yeah.
you just cut them off and some of them will regrow and you can replant. I mean, there's so you can constantly be keeping, hold that up because I'm taking a picture of that with my phone. Constantly be keeping the greens going at all times because and
Yeah.
different kinds. How many different varieties do you do?
Oh gosh. Um, Probably 15 plus varieties
15
that
plus.
I grow. Yeah. So microgreens can actually be any um vegetable, herb, or edible flower.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so we pick the most popular ones that we put in the kits. And I feel like the healthiest, I guess you could say. But yeah, they're actually up to 40 times more nutrient dense than if you were to grow it out to the adult vegetable. So instead of eating this big plate of broccoli, trying to get your kids to eat this broccoli and smelling it and like all the things, they're like,
Wow.
no, you can just literally give them a tablespoon of the microgreen broccoli and they're getting so much goodness, so
And
much
they like
goodness.
it because it's kind
Um,
of crunchy and you can just
yes.
cut little bits off, right? Or what you did, which was awesome. She just cut all three trays and put them in a
Yeah.
big pot, and we could just go take some of each and try
Yeah.
them and see what they were
Yeah.
like. And they were so
Yeah. So
easy to eat and they tasted so
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, yeah. So the flavor, like they taste good. The flavor's enhanced in them as well. So the nutritional values, crazy mind blowing. The flavor and just like you said earlier, the beauty of them, they just make you happy.
They do. They totally make you happy.
They do. Yeah. Yes, for sure. Um, let's see what else. I just, a lot of encouragement too. I know, people just keep doing what you're doing, like keep spreading this because more people need this. I love those messages. And so, I'm just trying to spread as much microgreen love as I can in all the different places that I can. So
So you
yeah,
said mentioned something that I wanted to ask you because I was wondering about this. So the microgreens are the greens that have just grown. They're not the big full plants. They're
right.
microgreens, right? They're the small. They're
Right.
just
Yeah,
smaller. But would they, if you kept growing them, would they grow into the big plants?
they would.
There's not
So
enough room in there,
just
but
yeah, yeah, right. Now they're the seeds are sowed rather densely. So I don't think it would actually
right,
do what
probably
it's supposed
stunt.
to do
Yeah.
because it's so, but yes. So just to explain a little bit about them to kind of, people can understand, um, you have your seed and it sprouts. And a lot of people know about sprouting and
Yep.
sometimes they confuse sprouts and microgreens. They are just a little bit different. So you have your sprout, which is grown 3 to 5 days in a jar, um, typically just using water, and it's more held in a cool, dark environment. So that's
Hmm.
3 to 5 days. And then you just have the next cycle of the plant's life, which would be the microgreens.
Okay.
And they're grown anywhere from 7 to up to 21 days. The microgreens that take a little bit longer are your herbs, if you get into that. So that's just the next phase of the plant's life cycle. And then you would move on to like your baby greens. So like if you've seen baby spinach at this grocery store,
Right.
And then it goes on to the adult vegetables. So
Okay.
the wonderful thing about microgreens are they are at the stage where they're most nutrient dense. Like everything is condensed into those tiny little greens. And so, yeah, I do sprout too. But microgreens, it's crazy. They take a little bit longer, but I feel like they're easier. Um, and yeah, they're incredible.
And you can set them on different cycles. Like you were saying that these sit for, is it 4 days without touching them, without doing anything.
Right.
And then the fourth day
Yeah.
is when you kind of switch the tray, you start watering them and give
Yep.
them a little
Yep.
bit of water. And I went and bought one of the
Yeah.
spray bottles like you have,
Oh,
just so
yeah.
I could have it. And then you
Yes.
just start spritzing those each day, and you just get to
Yeah.
see them grow. And within 10 days, you've got these
Yeah.
microgreens that are
Yeah.
incredible. And then you can
Yeah.
slice them off and start them again, right? And then you
Yeah.
can use
Yeah.
the
So
roots for the composting if you need to, right? For your rest of your garden.
yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, oh, it's all like one and done. You harvest it and that's it. But really, um, yeah, you can start your own compost pile from the remnants of the harvested tray, or you can we like to give it to our livestock. Our sheep love it and our chicken love it. So there's no waste that goes on because some people are like, gosh, I feel like, it only takes 10 days to grow it. And then I feel like I'm just wasting it and then having to
Yeah.
start over. But it doesn't have to be that way. So
And
yeah,
some,
and
like
with
the peas you were saying, will regrow 3 times. Is that what you
yes,
were saying? Three
yes, up
times. So
to
you
three
just cut them
times.
off and
Yes,
regrow them,
yeah,
which is
yes,
awesome.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's so cool. Yeah.
So the other thing that I was impressed with when you were talking with us, oh, we're almost out of time. Gosh, this time goes so fast. Is you were
I,
talking about your business end and how you grow them and what you do, and then you're talking about your personal end and what you do with your family and how they grow and what they need. And I thought that was so clever. That was so smart because you have to grow the stuff that you're selling a little bit differently, and people tell you what they want. You've got everything going, you've got them in different stages, and you know exactly what you're doing. Then your family has got theirs. They can just go whack off and eat if they want to, right? Or you
oh
keep them
yeah,
in,
yeah.
you
My
keep them in
boys just
trays.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They go over and just rip the pea shoots right out of the tray, and they're just munching on it. And yeah, so they have their favorites.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right. So
But
really it's for everybody, right? It's for
oh
everybody.
yes, yes.
And you're
It's
getting
for
great
everybody. Yes,
nutrition and
yes,
they're beautiful. Hold that up again for us,
yeah,
Mallory, real
sure.
quick, so people can see that
This
because this
one's
is
actually, yeah, this is the salad mix. And it
okay.
comes, yeah, this variety comes in our kits. And you can I don't know if you can see here, but you can tell that the stems have different colors. And so
Yeah.
in this variety, there's broccoli, kale, cabbage, kohlrabi, and arugula, all mixed together. So it's a
So
wonderful
I'm
blend.
holding up the seed packet and she's holding up the
Yeah.
seeds that have already grown. The microgreens have already grown. So they go from this that I'm holding up to that she's holding up. So those of you who can't see it, I've
Yeah.
got the seed packet. She's got the ones that are grown and ready to go. So those are
Yeah.
ready to be harvested, right?
This is actually day 7.
Oh, day 7. So you still have a few more days
So
on that one.
yeah. And actually, I will add on day 7, you can have 2 options. You can actually start harvesting them and using them as you want. And so you
Mm.
can leave them in here and leave them living. And, you can maximize the nutrition, literally cut it and put it right on your plate. Or you can let it go for 10 days and then you can harvest the entire tray on day 10, and they'll store in your refrigerator up to a couple weeks. They stay fresh up to a couple weeks there.
And you said
And
in
then you can
a sealed container,
sure,
or a
yep, yep.
Ziploc bag or
Mm-hmm.
something
Yeah,
that can seal
yeah.
it?
Anything you have. I usually just throw a paper towel in there to absorb any moisture and kind of help that shelf life. But yeah, they'll last you up to 2 weeks, but I guarantee you're going to eat them up way before then.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
we had all
and
those
just
people at our class, and it was just my husband had just picked up some sandwiches for us, and so he took the sandwiches out and he's putting the greens on it. And he's
oh
like, "We
yeah,
need a few more. Go get a
perfect.
few more."
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, you can put them on anything. It's awesome. So we are just about out of time. We only have a couple minutes
Okay,
left. So let's give your contact information again. And I
for
just
sure.
cannot tell you guys enough how much you want to get hold of her. If you want to just learn to grow these in your home, in your apartment, they're so simple to do that. Get her kit. Her kit is amazing. It just comes with everything that you need to get started and a step-by-step book that tells you exactly what to do to get started.
Yep.
And then if you want to turn it into a business, she is more than happy to help you do that. She's done all the footwork. She's done all the work. All you have to
Yeah.
do is just put forth some effort and get it going.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're
Absolutely. Yeah.
two different things going on here. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's give your contact information one more time. So everybody, please write this down.
Yes. So you can find our kits and all of our products at barefootmicrogreens.com. Find me on social media, Instagram and Facebook at Barefoot Microgreens, and our YouTube channel where we share everything about microgreens, the business side, the family side, and just everything we do here on our farm, and that's living life barefoot.
Okay, and they do live their life barefoot.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm like, I'm
It's
not sure that I'm
it's taken my husband a little bit, but he's doing good.
he's doing better. My husband's more of a
Yeah.
barefoot person than I am. I'm like, when I
Okay.
grew up, we had spiders and mice and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't do barefoot because I don't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
step on them. But I'm venturing. I'm getting there. I almost didn't have a choice when we were in Missouri because of
Oh
the
yeah.
mud. I almost lost my shoes and
Right.
socks. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I didn't. I was able to pull them out, and we're still drying them out and cleaning them. It's
Oh, I
crazy.
know.
It was
Crazy.
amazing. So, Mallory, thank you so much. This has been so
Yeah.
delightful. We'll put this out there,
Thank you.
and like I said, you guys, we're everything hope and healing here on this show, and this has been absolutely amazing because you can bring hope and healing in almost every single area, actually, really every area: financial, emotional, spiritual, physical. Everybody needs to be eating well and being careful what we're eating because there's so much stuff out there. So if you know you've grown them, you know what that's good in them, you know that you can get the nutrition out of them. And if you choose to do the business end of it, you can make a good profit on that and help other
Absolutely.
people.
Yeah.
So there's so
Yeah.
much here. And I, like I said, thank you so much. Because I know as soon as I met you, I'm like, ding, we got this instant bond. And I just really
Yeah.
wanted to have you share this with everybody because it can touch a lot of people's lives, as you already have done for all these
Absolutely.
years. So thank you
Oh,
again. Thank you so much, Mallory. I appreciate you. And everybody, get hold of
yes.
her. You will love what she does. Oh, they taste so good. They're just divine. So
Yes.
anyway,
I
thank you so
appreciate
much.
the opportunity.
Absolutely. We love having you here. Thank you, everybody. And you
Yeah.
all have a very happy and healthy day.